Welcome to the Wellness Surge podcast with Dr. Adiola Oke. Each week, we discuss our wellness journey with real people like you and me. We have conversations about food, fitness, mental health, financial wellness, and much more, so you can get back to the real you. To make sure that you're up to date with this and other wellness topics, visit wellnesssurge.com. Information presented here is for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. Please do not apply any of the information presented here without first speaking with your primary care provider. Now, let's head on to the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wellness Surge podcast. My name is Dr. Adiola Oke, and today we have with us Aishah Adams, the awesome Aishah Adams. You know why I call her awesome right now when I give you her full bio. Okay, so hello, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. It's really nice to be here. I'm excited for what we have ahead.
Awesome. Very good. Alrighty. Aishah Adams is the founder of Siddiqah International and the Support Lounge. Siddiqah is a personal and community development organization built to impact the lives of people and communities across the world through support and empowerment of stigmatized groups such as widows, divorcees, and families experiencing extreme poverty. About 1,000 families have been supported for the last 6 years. That's amazing. She's also the brain behind My Street Kitchen project, which is a project under the outreach arm of Siddiqah that has catered to over 97,000 people across Nigeria. Wow. My Street Kitchen is a monthly outreach to slums that provides food, clothes, soft skill training, and hands-on skills acquisition that can be monetized by the poor to improve their standard of living. OMG, I need to connect with her. I need to do some stuff. Oh, no, I'm just reading. I was like, whoa. Yes, because I have something going on too. But this is really amazing, putting your plan into action. Wow, that's amazing. That's not all. Listen, the Support Lounge, on the other hand, is a transformational coaching, training, and therapy hub that supports people to up-level by helping them heal from pain, spot growth, thus using their pain as a footstool to make lasting impact in their lives and community. Wow. Alrighty. There's still more. All right, hold on. Aisha is a serial social entrepreneur, big on community development projects, people development projects, as well as high impact projects. Aisha is the author of The White Elephant and Rise, Irrespective, which was launched on December 1st. Is that on audio?
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay, because that's my way, man. I'm an audiobook person. I'm reading and I'm doing something else. I was sitting down there. Okay. I used to do that back in secondary school. But right now it's all audiobooks, man. With 5 children, yes, you need to do what you got to do.
Yeah, sure.
So in summary, Aishah Adams is an NLP trained life coach. She's a mental health counselor, a sexual health counselor, a public health professional, speaker, a writer, and all shades of awesomeness in one.
You know.
I totally love that. Like when you first sent me that bio, I was like, the only thing I saw was all shades of awesomeness in one. I'm like, whoa, I just need to clap for this lady, man. Like, man, if you're good, I know you're good. You gotta flaunt it,
you have to. You have to.
You gotta flaunt it because nobody's gonna do it for you. So that's amazing. Alrighty. So today we're gonna be talking about how do you heal? That's it. How do you heal from traumatic relationships? And that's a really heavy topic, okay? So first and foremost, we're going to talk about what is a traumatic experience in a relationship. So we know what we're going to heal from, right? We need to know what it is. So that's the big thing, all right? So awesome.
Okay, so over to me. Let me warn. I like really laid back discussions. So I'm not the serious talk kind of person.
Okay.
So, and even in my writing, in my work, I tend to personalize things because I think that stories give weight to the things that we say. Absolutely. So I have suffered trauma in various aspects of my life. And so one will think, why is she talking about healing? What does she know about healing? What qualifies her to talk about it? It's beyond my work as an NLP person or a public health professional. It's beyond that. It's because I have also been through the journey. So it's beyond the theory. It's more about a practical journey that I took myself and I worked out of. Traumatic relationships come up in different forms. They come up as abuse, and abuse is loosely used a lot of the time, but it could be anything. Abuse is relative. So someone can be like, you know what, I've been traumatized, and person will be like, what do you mean by traumatized? What have you been through? No. It's relative. What I see as trauma might not be what you see as trauma. And if you feel traumatized, then it is valid. So traumatic relationships come in form of abuse, and it could be anything that would upset your emotional, psychological, sexual, physical state in such a way that you struggle to actually coexist with people peacefully, and you tend to feel like you are not totally together. So I'm not giving you a very theoretical thing. I'm trying to give you something that anyone can relate to. So if you feel any kind of instability in your life in such a way that you feel threatened, you feel not so much at peace with yourself or at peace with the people you are living with, then probably you are going through some level of trauma and you need to speak to someone.
Okay, all right. So I like to summarize things, right? Because you gave us some very beautiful response, but so just break it down. Let me just say it how I understand it. There are different types of trauma. There's the physical,
Yes.
there's the emotional, there's the sexual, it all relates to how you feel in terms of your coexistence, in terms of your relationships with other people. If you don't feel at peace with this person based on physical, emotional, or sexual coexistence, then you're being traumatized. Is that it?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
And it is relative.
It's very relative.
It's important
yes.
to talk about that. It's quite relative, So I might feel traumatized because I'm living in a space where someone keeps shouting, because I find loud people toxic. Someone else could be like, how can you call her toxic because she's loud? Well, it's traumatic for me because that's not something I accept. It's not traumatic for you because you are that way. What could be traumatic for you could be someone bringing out a gun. That might be like, oh, I won't even wait till the person brings out a gun before So you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that it's important that people understand that as much as we have defined, traumatic relationships, what I have said, it's relative. So it's relative to you. And if you in any way, shape or form feel traumatized by an event, then it is valid and you should seek help.
Yes. Okay. Very good. So can you give an example of traumatic relationships that people go through? Like, okay, you kind of say, yeah, like
off the top of my head, I'm thinking of three.
Okay.
If you just did a quick search on Google, the
Mhm.
top three traumatic relationships that would pop up would be marriage, it will be child-parent relationship, and then friendships will also be it. And then it will all budge down to it being toxic, right? Because for you to call it a relationship traumatic, then it will be that there is some level of toxicity that is beyond acceptable for the people involved.
True. So even before the marriage, sometimes there's already some trauma. Like some people, they're like, okay, I'm gonna get married to this person, but he's yelling at me, he's hitting me. Should I get married to him? But what is the world gonna say? They've already set the date.
No, I'm in love with him. Yeah, I wish you love the
Not even if I'm in love with him, what is the world going to say? Because we've already set the dates. What is my parent? People do that, and then
you just struck a chord. You struck a chord because that was me. When I talked about this in my book, The White Elephant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So The White Elephant is basically a book I wrote as a gift to womanhood. I gave it as a gift to people who were not married and as a gift to people who were going through traumatic marriages to say that it's okay to acknowledge that you're in a shitty marriage. Sorry, excuse my English, but that's what it is. And that it's okay for you to step out if you have to, because your emotional and mental health will thank you for it. When I was going to get married the first time, the reason why I got married to the person I got married to, because what happened was that I was young, I was whatever, I was hot cake, you know, and and they had set the dates. Now what happened was that we had done an acto, more like an introduction, but it was an introduction and an acto. But I hadn't moved in. I hadn't moved in, and I should have. So then we started counseling, and sincerely, I think this is the first time I'm actually openly talking about this. This is a gift to your listeners.
Thank you.
And it was such that I actually, when we were going through the counseling period, I think we did that for like a month before the walima, before the date of the wedding. So let's say we had an engagement and, it was like the solemnization had happened. And then we were waiting like, okay, you know what, I'm going to move in after the reception party. And the date had been set. But I was beginning to feel like, I think I made a mistake. I don't think this is the right person I should be with. We are not talking. Like, I'm the talky, chatty kind of person if I meet the person that I click with. Do you get? So if I meet you and I don't really like you or we don't have things in common, I'll probably not say anything. You probably think I'm the most quiet person ever. but if I meet the person, like my person, oh my God, like we will talk all night, like literally. And so we actually were struggling to talk. And I just thought, okay, maybe it was because we were trying to be very Muslim, we're trying to stay within the confines of what the religion expected us to do and not go out or go
but
overboard.
You've already done the akido, you've already done the introduction, right? So
like
you've already done the solemnization.
You know what you do, you just give yourself all kinds of excuses.
Yes.
And then they had set the date, and I was like, and so for me it's like, even if you have set the date, I told a friend of mine recently, I said, if a minute before you step into the hall he does anything that makes you question whether you should continue this journey, I beg you, step away. Because you are going to wish you did that for the rest of your life.
Thank you for saying that. A lot of people need to hear that. That seriously,
you are going to wish you did that for the rest of your life. So do yourself that favor. It is better to have a broken engagement than to have a broken marriage.
That's tough though. Let's just be real here. That's tough, but but it is totally worth it. I've not been through it, so I can't even say it, but I'm just imagining people that I love going through that, and then they say, I need to break this thing. It's hard. But sometimes awesomeness happens where you're uncomfortable, like things you don't feel comfortable doing. That's where awesomeness lies, right? And so that's where you thrive, and that's where you're happy. And sometimes we need to do things we're not comfortable doing in terms of making other people unhappy, but makes us happy. We need to be selfish, right?
In the end, you would actually be making them happy. Nobody wants to. Is there anyone who really wants to have a broken marriage? Like, let's think about it.
Okay, sure. That's too much stress.
Too much stress. It's a lot of stress. You see, the thing is that because of so many people are focused on what people would say rather than what works for me. And you see, people would talk. If you do the right thing, they will talk. If you do not do the right thing, they will talk. So, darling, do something that makes you happy, because life is short. Sure. Life is too short. Like for me, see, this is it.
Sure.
I had a choice to have stayed back in that marriage, because at the end of the day, the marriage ended because I asked for divorce. But the thing was this. I asked myself if the rest of my life was worth throwing away. I had been in the marriage for 3 years, and I thought that, Aisha, this was a mistake. Like, 6 months into the marriage, I knew without a doubt that I had made a mistake. I knew.
Wow.
So the rest of the 2.5 years I gave that marriage was, I don't want people to talk. I don't want them to say this. I don't want to bring shame to my family. I don't want the stigma that comes with it. I don't want this and I don't want that. Well, it's how many years now? I think it's about 11 years since that decision. And honestly, I don't regret making that decision. I think it's one of the best things that I did for myself. It was tough. The period coming after, the divorce I had to go through, which was very traumatic. The experiences that I had, but those things are the things that have formed the foundation of the work that I do now. I do not shy away from telling you the truth. The truth is that a broken engagement is way better for you, for him, for everyone involved than a broken marriage. He will come to thank you for it. You will come to thank her for it. You know that because you're toying with someone's rest of the life. And then at this moment, you don't have someone with you. You haven't brought in kids.
Yeah.
Because when you then get married, you're going to bring in children, and then you're going to cause more problems for more people.
True. Wow. Okay, that's deep. We can keep going. It won't be done. So we know what it is, right? We know what we shouldn't do. We know, saying no, but how can, even so, if you then go through it, right? You finally say you go through it. You're not brave enough to go to say no, right? How can you heal from it? Are there any actionable steps? Like, okay, this is what I do now. This is what I do next. Are there actionable steps?
Yes, definitely. There is always a solution to every problem, I believe, because I'm a hopeless optimist. And the first thing I would say is that, so when people make mistakes or when they make decisions that cost them certain things, so it makes them find themselves in places that they don't want to be. One of the first things that I tend to see with this kind of people, and even myself inclusive, would be that we tend to lose ourselves. Because in the process of trying to right the wrong you made, to save face, to, prevent the stigma that comes with the wrong decisions you made, you find yourself becoming someone that you would never have thought you would be. And many times these changes happen without you even actually realizing that you're changing. And then you start to hear friends say like, Aisha, you've changed. Oh, Adiola, you're not acting the way I knew you to be. Are you okay? I heard these kind of things a lot. I heard people ask me those questions, and I just really didn't see what they were saying because I was in the deep of the mess. And so the first thing you do is that you take yourself back to the basics and you rediscover yourself. It's really important. You need to get back in touch with who you are. What are your values? Who did you intend to be when you were young? You might need to really go far back as that, because sometimes you like it becomes really hazy. But many people, even those who had really tough upbringing, tend to find childhood as an easy time to think about. So you need to really go back in time and say, who was I and who did I want to be? And every child, like if you go into I think the richest place, you will find beautiful dreams are in primary schools, because these kids are just full of life. These kids believe in the world. These kids believe that everything is achievable. And the belief, this means that we all have the belief that the world, like good things are achievable. What just happens is that we allow the conditioning of other people tweak our idea of the world. And we do not really have to take that idea. And so what we need to do is, if you have a very dirty glass, what you need to do is you need to clean it up. You need to take the first step, rediscover. Take the next step. In your rediscovery journey, be open to cleaning up and opening every door you have not opened in a long time, because you want to let the sun in. Because you want to really let the sun in, and you want the sun to get to the core. And that's one of the reasons why I'm very invested. I actually have one of my trainings, I call it Peel the Layers. It's actually a self-discovery class, but it is about peeling the layers and getting to the core. Who am I at my roots, and who do I want to become? Who did I want to become? And as of right now, based on what I know of myself, who do I want to become? And how can I achieve that? I think that it's always important to stand with the end in mind. And so when you are clear on what your vision for your life is, you then, have a plan of this is how to go about it. And if you're struggling to get back on track, that's why you have people, you have coaches and you have therapists who can support you on that journey. Say,
that's what I was going to say. I'm like, this is like, you have to, when you're rediscovering, that's when you need people in your life to help you.
Yes, to keep you grounded on those goals.
Yes.
And say, you know what, darling, what I tell people, and this is a belief I have. If you can dream it, then you can achieve it. You will not dream of something that you do not have the resources to achieve.
Sure.
Let me say that again. You will not dream. Your mind will be unable to conceive a dream that you don't have the skill set to achieve. And so if you can come up with a dream, then it means that you have the skill set to achieve it. And so if you are not achieving it, it's not because the dream is not possible. It is because you are not ready to take yourself from the space you are to the space you need to be, to become who you need to be to achieve the dream that you want.
Okay, that was meant for me. That was totally meant. No, it's not on the trauma aspect, but it's that thing you just said. That was meant for me. Seriously, it's not just on the trauma aspect. You can put it in every aspect of your life. My own problem is something else, but like if you can dream it, you can achieve it.
Yes.
You just are not. You have just not put yourself through the steps you need to achieve that goal. That was meant for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Okay. All right. So we've talked about one actionable step, rediscovering yourself, right?
We've talked about support as well, seeking support.
Okay, seeking support. Okay, absolutely. That is so important.
We've talked about believing in the dream, because even if you rediscover yourself, even if you get support and you do not believe in the dream and believe in the fact that you can achieve the dream, the coaches don't get to do the job for you. They just support you to do the job. So I've had different kinds of clients. I have had clients that they came into my office broken. They literally flew out of my office by the end of the work.
Wow.
And then I have had people come into the office. They moved a few steps, but because the thing is that they're looking for the solution outside of themselves. But then God will not test you. I'm a very faith-based person, and so if anyone is listening and you're faith-based, then this will be for you. Because I believe that you will not be tested with something greater than your shoulder can bear. And so what it is that the gift is given to you before the test. It's almost like when we're in school, right? You are taught the class and then the exams come. And so the pain, the test, the trauma has come to test you to strengthen the muscle of yours. Let's go for exercise, right? We're talking about wellness. And so some part of wellness will be physical exercise. When you are trying to build a muscle, you put that muscle through what? Endurance work.
Yes, so.
And so the pain, the stress, the trauma is there to strengthen the muscle of yours so that you can use it effectively. And so the pain and trauma isn't all bad. It's just about perspective. So if you look at it from an empowering position, you find that you're able to work with the trauma and pain, and you're able to use it to produce something awesome. So the next step is actually believing in your dream, believing in it is achievable, and then focusing on that dream. So when you believe in it, the next thing you then do is focus on it and keep your gaze on that goal as you walk through the mess you are in. You will find it easier to walk out of that mess when you have something optimistic to take you out of that place. I give an example. I actually heard an account of a soldier talking about how he survived one of the wars. And he said that what helped him get through the war was a memory of a song that he shared with his wife, and the fact that he looked forward to being able to sing her that song again. And when he thought about singing the song to her again, he didn't only just think about it, he started to sing the song to himself to encourage himself to believe in the fact that he will be able to sing the song again to his wife. And this was what got him through the war and got him back home. And then he said something funny happened. He remembered getting back home and he had forgotten all about the incident and all about the fact that it was that song that got him through. And suddenly he heard his wife sing the song and he just burst out crying because that was like a soft spot for him. And he then told her what happened, and then they both, started crying, and they just found and so a lot of the time, it's actually focusing on the end goal. And this is what has helped me actually. When I was going through the different pain things that I went through, one of the things that stood out for me was, no, this is not your life. This is not your endpoint. I was very sure that I was going to have a successful marriage. I was going to have a beautiful life. So you'd have heard me say some of the challenges. I'm just going to share two, just with the hope that someone listening who is going through something similar doesn't lose hope. Number
Okay.
one, I have kids now, all thanks to God. But I actually had a lot of miscarriages.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I had a lot of miscarriages before I had over 6 miscarriages.
Wow.
And through
Wow.
it all, I kept
So was
believing
it
that I was going to
six
have,
miscarriages during that marriage? During that marriage?
yes, that first one.
Wow. 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 Okay.
So, and through it all, I just kept telling myself, like, no, don't worry. I will go. And so when I hear someone gives birth, a friend of mine, I would go and, really be happy with them, play with the kids. And I would look at the child, and in my mind, I'll be like, I'm going to have my kid someday. I'm going to carry my child, you know. I just knew it in my heart. I did not have any evidence, anything changing. I was doing everything that I needed to do, but I just knew it in my heart that, someday I believed in it. I believed in it like my life depended on it. When I was going through divorce and, you know, I was not like, okay, this was not in the plan. God, I don't know what's going on here. This was not in the plan. And then I used to say to myself that, Aisha, you're going to have a beautiful life. And I didn't just say it. I started to write down the things I was going to do with that beautiful life and
Mm,
how I was going to show up in the world and how
mm,
I was going to serve people and how I was going to be so amazing that even those who laughed at me were going to look at me and say, thank you for showing up. And
wow.
that kept me going.
Okay.
So when you are going through tough times like that and you're trying to rebuild, you need a beautiful picture to focus on.
Okay.
You need something beautiful to keep you motivated.
Okay. All right. So what I'm getting is I'm thinking about, okay, so somebody is going through this. They finally get out. Okay. They finally get
Okay?
out. But I know about people that get out, but they're still an absolute mess. I know about people like that, but I can't even muster the courage to tell them that there's something that they're not who they used to be, because I think they're still in that trauma and they have not gotten out of that trauma. They got a chance to get out of the marriage or the relationship, whatever, but they're still a mess. Is there hope for someone like that? Like, how do
Yes,
you
there is.
how do
There is
you
hope.
go about, like, I can't even tell the person, like, yeah,
Number
just
one
say
is that you need to
so.
engage with gratitude.
Hmm.
Gratitude, off the top of my head, that's the first thing. So let me paint a scenario for you. Just think about this. So you've been through a marriage,
Uh-huh.
it didn't work, you stepped out, then you remarried,
Mm-hmm.
then you finally get a child, and then you get divorced again. How do you get out of that? So the first thing is that a lot of the time we lose sight of the blessings we have in the middle of that mess. We tend to be so focused on the pain and we lose sight of every other beautiful thing we have in our lives.
Hmm.
Because it's
True.
not all misery. Trust me. Even in the pit of that pain, it's not all misery. But unfortunately, it's like this. What you focus on expands. So when you are focused on something, you tend to lose sight of every other thing. And so when you're focusing on the pain only expands, it keeps expanding, and then you feel the pain even more. But when you focus on the beauty, what happens? The pain starts to shrink. It starts to become insignificant to a point that it doesn't even matter to you anymore. To a point that you don't even notice that it is even there. But then you need to seek therapy because what you just did was shrink it. You did not pick it out and throw it out completely. And therapy would help you seal that deal. And so what people tend to do is that they shrink it, but they never really seek therapy. I shrunk it and I also went for therapy. I did all kinds of therapy to ensure that I was back in check. And then sometimes, if you're a professional, you're a health professional, you're in the wellness space, and you're going through this, you probably tell yourself that lie of, I know what to do.
Absolutely. We're the worst patient.
Darling, go get help.
We're the
Take
worst
your own
patients.
take your own pill. You're giving other people that same advice of you need therapy, you need to heal, you need to do the work yourself. Because I like to be very authentic. So I don't share anything that I don't do. So the first thing will be gratitude. Gratitude will take you very far. Just wake up in the morning and just be very intentional about the things you're thankful for. In my book, Rise Irrespective, I wrote about something. I said, what if the only things you woke up with today were the things you were thankful for yesterday? What would you have left with you? And that was it for me. It was just in one of those moments that came to me. Like, what if you lost everything you did not thank God for today, tomorrow when you wake up?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow.
What would you have with you? What would you have left?
Zero.
And so I found myself thinking, like I just said, thank God for my eyes, because I can see the beauty of the skies. I can see the beauty of the trees. I can see my children, and I am so thankful. And then I go, thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for the water that I can drink. So many people, we take drinking water, we take it for granted. There's so many beautiful things that we have, and we do not see them in these moments of extreme pain. I'm not trying to say you're not in pain. I'm just saying that there are other beautiful things in your life, and those things, be grateful for them. And gratitude will take you very far. You'll be shocked at how well it would help you grow. And so those are the things I did. I started to become more grateful, and not just say it. I actually started to document it on a daily basis. And this has worked for a number of my clients as well. I make them do gratitude exercise, So just start, tell me some of the things you're thankful for. And, just try this out. Every morning, wake up. This is actually part of my morning routine. I have a morning routine. And when I wake up in the morning, I thank God specifically for things, So I pick today, what am I thankful for? I am thankful for the water. I'm thankful for the opportunity to journal. I am thankful for the opportunity to have a discussion with my daughter. I'm thankful for the hugs I'm able to give my son. Those kind of things that we
Small
do and
things
take
we
for
don't even
granted.
think we take for granted, for the opportunity to give my child a hug. Whoa. Okay. All right. This is, man. Okay, seriously, man. Yeah. Thank you. Wow. At least now I feel empowered that at least somebody, like people that I know that it's not just one. I think I'm this type of person that when you're in
Another
pain, I'm in
thing that
pain
I
with
would
you.
say you
So
should do would
yeah.
be that you go on a forgiveness journey. So we think
What is
we
that?
are angry at other people.
I'm like, what is that?
Sorry. I came prepared for you.
Well, what is a forgiveness journey, please?
Okay, but this time around, so a lot of the time when people talk about forgiveness, they talk about forgiveness of the people that hurt us. I'm not actually saying that.
Okay.
I'm talking about forgiving yourself.
Okay.
So you know what? So many times we think, the word there is think. We think we are angry at the people that hurt us, when in fact we are angry at ourselves for giving them the permission to hurt us. Because the only things that happen to you are the things that you give the permission to happen. Yeah, there are things that you cannot control. There are things you cannot control. But even those things that you cannot control, when they happen, how do you react to them? Your reaction is your fault. The incident is not your fault, but your reaction is on you. And so what it is that it is important that you get that you have a level of control over the things that happen to you. And so rather than go, oh, they did that to me, how about what was my role in this? And then actually taking responsibility for your role and forgiving yourself for the errors you made with a commitment to do better next time. We have set ourselves up as infallible beings. And this is the problem.
Yes,
We
nobody's
don't want
perfect.
to make we don't want to make mistakes. We don't want to fall short. We want it to be prim and proper, perfect and all, picture perfect, and those kind of things. They're just setting yourself on a standard that is unachievable. You see, perfection is unachievable. So that is setting yourself up for a lower standard. But excellence is achievable, and that is setting yourself up to aim high. So if you really want to aim high, you aim for excellence. Now, excellence is not achieved in a day. It is achieved through repeated, consistent efforts at doing something right. When they call someone a consultant, the person doesn't become a consultant because they went into school and studied for X number of years. They become consultants in a field because they practice that work. They learned on the job, they went through the motions, they faced the risks associated with the work, and they came out alive and sane, I guess. So the point is, you are not going to get to that point of achieving high if you do not go through the hurdles. And so the fact that you fell off the hurdle, your falling off the hurdle is not to say that you are not worthy of achieving the goal you have set. It is to say, re-strategize, come back stronger. Unfortunately, we take a small fall and we blow it out of proportion, and we use that as our yardstick to say, I think this is the universe saying that I shouldn't do this. This is, everyone trying to tell me that. Do you believe in what you're doing? Do you believe that is the right thing? Are you ready to invest what it takes to achieve your dream? Then go for it. So what I would say is gratitude, forgive yourself. You need to actually sit down and acknowledge that you're angry at yourself. When I had to do this, I cried. I cried so much, I didn't realize how much anger I had. I was actually angry at myself that I threw away all the fantastic proposals I had. And I put myself in that space where I was now stigmatized for making a wrong decision. And I did that to myself because I was being a perfectionist. I was the one dragging myself through pain. Nobody was. And the day I acknowledged that was the day that I became born again. Like, not born again in that perspective, but like Jonathan, it was like a rebirth for me.
Yes,
like,
you saw the light.
Oh my God, I have been the one punishing myself all along. Oh my God, I'm not doing this again. So the thing is that you need to take yourself off the hook. You need to give yourself the opportunity to breathe again. You need to give yourself the permission to heal. Be kind to yourself. Imagine that it was your friend, that you are a friend to yourself, and that you saw your friend going through pain. What would you say to them? Say it to yourself and be that way with yourself. And the third thing will be that you need to then recommit to your journey of achieving. Because when you are in that, the last thing you want to do is go back and try again. You tell yourself all kinds of things. Trying again, so I give an example. In a relationship that failed, does that mean that the universe or God has given you a sign never to marry? No. It just means that marriage wasn't meant for you. It wasn't going to work. There were lessons you needed to learn. Take the lessons and move on. But don't then set yourself up for a life of, pain. Because this has happened, I am never going to No. Life is too short and it's too long for you to put yourself through drama. Because many times it's actually the drama we put ourselves through. We are the ones that put ourselves in this cage of, I'm not going to remarry because of this. Because if you give yourself the excuse, your mind will find a way of bringing it to you. So what you then need to do is recommit to living a life that is robust, full, rich, and everything that you have ever dreamt of. And when you recommit in that way and you are consistently working towards it, you'll get what you want eventually.
Thank you. Thank you. Alrighty, we've talked a lot. Oh my gosh, we can keep going. And this, I really, let me just tell you again, I really learned a lot and I enjoyed a lot. So we've said a lot, right? But what is one thing you want to make sure people take away? Somebody that is hurting right now, what do you want to make sure that they will take away from this discussion today?
One thing that I want them to take.
Yeah, that's a tough one, right?
The pain is not given to you to hurt you. You are not going through pain because you are not loved, or because you're a bad person, or because good things are not just meant for people like you. I hear that a lot. There is nothing called people like you. You are giving the pain because you're loved, because it is a gift. It is a gift. So I'll tell you, okay, let me recoin it this way. You see, as women, when women, because I want to believe men will listen to this, but when a woman is about to give birth, like, we love children. Children are so cute and they are so, beautiful and all of that. But the process to giving birth is not the nicest of processes. It's painful, it's stressful, it's exciting, it's scary, it's all shades of emotions, but there is beauty.
At the end.
There is a lot of beauty when that child comes out and you just see the face of the child and you're just like, oh my God, you just feel this calmness and you forget everything. And so just like the new baby, your dream, your vision, your life goals and all of that, babies of yours that you need to birth, that only you can birth because you have your own unique space in this world. And you have those things that are unique to you that only you can bring to the table. And that only you can bring to the table in the way that you will bring it to the table. And so the pain that you have is not intended to push you away from the dream. It is intended to push you closer to the dream. So rather than focus on the pain, focus on the beauty in the clouds. And you would find that it is packed with all the goodness you need to get you to the promised land.
Okay.
And so understand that pain is a gift.
Okay.
And if well used, it would help you birth your purpose and help you achieve all the dreams that you've always wanted to. So believe in yourself and never give up until you get your dream.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you so much. So, Miss Aisha Adams, or Mrs. Aisha, how can you've just thrown a lot of things at us. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, even you can relate what you said to so many aspects of your life. Like, not just trauma, like a lot of things. I'm like, okay, this was meant for me. This was meant for me. I'm taking this on. I'm taking this and I'm working on it. This action, I'm going to be this step, I'm going to take it and do it for me. So how can people get a hold of you after this show?
Okay, you can check me out, Aisha Adams, www.aishahadams.com. You can also
hold on. That your Aisha Adams has an H at the end.
Yes,
right?
Sorry, yes, it
okay,
does. So
okay, because I was like,
Adams. So www.aishahadams.com. My Aisha is AISHAH. And then you could check me up on Instagram at Aisha_Adams. Again, my Aisha has H at the end. And you can check me on Facebook. I'm quite active on Facebook and Instagram. And then I'm trying to have a YouTube channel, I think. So yeah, you can also find me on YouTube. Though I'm not yet very active there, but yeah, I'm cooking up something. So just watch out.
Awesome.
And then I have a podcast that I just have laid back discussions. It's just nothing, just laid back discussions around wellness. Basically.
Oh, really? All right, I gotta check that out. Awesome. Thank you so much. It was so wonderful connecting with you. It was so wonderful being in this space with you. And I learned a lot today. And I hope you did too. So thank you all of you for tuning in. We'll see you in the next podcast. Have a good day. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you for listening and sharing your precious time with us. If you enjoyed the show, then follow us and subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, or any app that carries podcasts. Have an awesome week. Best wishes to see you thrive.